Hey you guys, Dev here at WeBuyHouses.com. Welcome to Cash Offer Masterclass, episode number 35. I've got a house I'm very excited about today. It's this one we're looking at right here in the picture. This house is right here in my sweet spot of Arlington, Texas. It's a 322. It was built in the 70s. It's about 1,775 square feet. It is right in the sweet spot of an investor property in a great community. Arlington, Texas, as we've looked at back in episode 30, has about, under a 4 month supply of homes. So Arlington is still a pretty healthy market in the DFW area for these existing homes. Not a lot of building going on really in Arlington because it's kind of built out, and we've got a lot of older neighborhoods like this. So very excited about this. And before we get into it, there's a couple of others I wanted to just show you, just touch on a few different topics before we do the deep dive on this Arlington property. The first one I wanted to show you is I got this email. Man, I was intrigued by this. This is a house in Dallas, luxury near Trinity Groves, 4 bedroom, 3.5 bath, high end finish out, short term rental or flip potential. And I think I know where this is because I've seen some of these properties. I think it's the same builders building some of these things. But look at that. And so won't spend much time on this because basically they're saying ARV is 655 and they're looking for 600. Obviously not an investor opportunity. We would have to be coming in way under the ARV to make sense for us to buy a property like this. Built in 2025, this is a brand new property. Hey, just for giggles, I'm going to click on this real quick. I don't want to spend a lot of our time on this. It is not an investor deal. But aren't you kind of just dying? Oh, they just got a bunch of web page photos. These will be the photos that are on Zillow or whatever. But check that out. Oh, so white. So white. Although I do like white and black. You guys probably have figured that out. I'm kind of into white and black. But man, that's pretty cool. I'm immediately going to say yes. I would take a shower in that shower. Wow, that is really something. And that staircase, and again, look at that bathroom. I watch. In fact, I watch a lot of Arvin Haddad videos. I don't know if you guys know Arvin Haddad. He reviews mansions. He's the how to buy a mansion guy. I'm the how to buy a crappy house guy. But I see a lot of mansions because I watch his videos, and I'm telling you, this is better looking than what I've seen in some $20 million houses in California. It's pretty basic in its finish out, but wow, just wow. Neat house, cool house. We can't afford it, my friends. I guarantee you, if we took this address, like let's take this, let's see what the ARB might really be. And we took it and we dropped it here in the Google. And we came to here, we went to Zillow, and Zillow's saying 685. These guys are saying 655. Look, if you're looking for a house as an individual, this could be the one. That could be if you like that style, and dude, I love that style. I'm telling you, I would go into that house. Yes. Okay, so I'm gonna throw that one away for right now. We can't be distracted by that. We're gonna look at this one real quick. I just want to make a point about this one. This is a property in Grand Prairie, Texas, which is next to Arlington, right? A suburb of Dallas. And as we look at this one, 315 on the ARB, 175 for the purchase. I just want to make a point about this one. I think this would be a good one for us to drill down on, but I've got this Arlington house, and I'm dying to look at the Arlington house. It's right in my neighborhood, right in my backyard. And so today I was going to do this one, but I'm not. But I thought this would be a cool thing to talk about just real quick. If you look at the terms, it said you'd be closing on November 17th. Occupancy at close, 21-day lease back, 5K deposit, 250-day holdover. What does that mean? that means there's somebody occupying the house and they want to occupy it for 21 days after closing. So they are saying, I'll give you, the buyer, a $5,000 deposit either to you or to an escrow agent at a title company. And I'll guarantee you $250 per day holdover, which means if I'm not out after 21 days, I'll pay you $250 a day until I get out. So it's a big penalty, and you're holding $5,000 in cash. So you know, chances are you would actually collect that money. So that's what that means. We often sell properties and we'll tell people, hey, you know, we'll give you 30 days to move after close, but you need to cover yourself with something like this. Even if you're not going to charge them, there needs to be some sort of lease back with a deposit, with a holdover. And that's kind of what I just wanted to use this one to talk about. That, you know, anytime you let somebody stay after you close, they could damage the property. You know, they could stay longer than they said, and now you've got to boot them out. And so it could be a hassle. And that's what this kind of thing protects you against. So I like to see that in deals. We're not going to look at this house today. We're going to go to this one. This is the house in Arlington that I got. It's at 2009 Mosswood Court, Arlington, Texas 76015. The wholesaler is Bluebonnet today. Good to see Bluebonnet back in the mix. I love these guys too. I'm a fondness for Fazio because they send me so many houses to look at, and it's such rich content for us. And Bluebonnet does the same. Love these guys. If you have any interest in the property, you can reach out to Taylor at 469-283-6950 or see what other things Bluebonnet has available. This one has a similar kind of clause in that when you acquire this house, also on 11/17 for whatever reason, the new owner will need to give the tenants a 60-day notice. Tenants currently paying $16.75 per month, $12.95 deposit, transfer to buyer at closing. So you've got a tenant in the house. If you don't want the tenant in the house, you have to give them a 60-day notice for them to be able to, you know, handle their affairs and move. And so you're agreeing to that up front, but you have a tenant that's cash flowing at $16.75. If you could get into this property and you've got cash, and maybe you want that renter there at $16.75, and you could continue that relationship if you wanted to. All right, photos coming soon. Please text us. Oh, that's a drag. We don't really have photos. I love that part. That's my favorite part of these videos that we do together. That's okay. I just want to talk through this deal. It's, as I mentioned, the specs on this house are perfect investor specs. You know, it's the 322, you know, between 1,500 and 2,000 square feet. It's built after the 1965 or later, that kind of thing. So it falls right into the sweet spot. They also say roof 5 years old, HVAC brand new, foundation good condition. So yeah, we're not going to get into this house today, and maybe make the video a little bit more reasonable in length. We'll see. But the problem I'm going to have with this house right off the bat is that if I just do the math in my head, that if the ARV is 345, that 200 is a little rich at that price point. And I'm assuming there is cosmetic to be done to this house. Like, it's got renters in it, so it's probably not horrible. It's probably functional because there are people living in the property. But, you know, I think as we see most properties, even if they say no issues, no issues, no issues, what have we seen? We get in there and the house is in rough shape, you know, not necessarily holes in the wall or anything like that, but, you know, definitely they need flooring and they need paint and they need all these things, particularly if you're going to put them back on the retail market where we have houses like that one we just looked at. You know, there's some beautiful houses out there. But let's jump into it. This is the subject property. And if we, you know, first step we do is we're trying to figure out the ARV, the after repaired value. We're there going to estimate the repairs. And that leads us to what we think the right cash value would be for the property. Now, even without photos, I think I'm going to be able to show you guys something pretty instructive here. Number one, Zillow is down at 285. Well, the wholesaler is saying 199. So excuse me, 345 for the ARV is what the wholesaler's saying. And Zillow's saying they think the property could be worth 285. And their estimate would have, as all others, topped off back in 2022 at 314 is where they were at, and they've come down to 285 in their estimate. Just sign of the times, my friends. We go over to Realtor. Realtor's got it at 319,600. So considerably higher than Zillow, and that's what we're seeing these days. I think it's because Realtor's basing all their stuff these days off of, well, I was going to say CoreLogic. Yeah, it's CoreLogic. That's what they're using, 319,600. CoreLogic is a big data provider in the real estate business, and they are integrated into many of the MLS systems. So CoreLogic's, it's good data, very good data. That's my point. We're going to look at Redfin. We're seeing 283, 377 for that 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. HAR showed the tax appraised market value of 246. So it's going to be lower than the actual market value. Let's jump into the model on this one. We put the values that we just got off Zillow, Redfin, Realtor, and Property Radar over here in our ARV calculation. What we're finding is a $301 average. Now, I often feel like the averages are being brought down by Zillow, but also Redfin was down in that 283 level right there with Zillow. So we've got a little bit more things that are pulling the average down, with Zillow and Redfin being, that low. But Realtor using CoreLogic and Property Radar both are at that 319. So we could actually say the ARV is 319. I don't think it would kind of save this deal, because I'll show you the problem. Like right now I'm going to go with 301 because I definitely feel like these guys are like the canary in the coal mine on home values, even in a market like Arlington where it's still pretty hot. I come over here, 1775 square feet. I find that 170 per square foot gets me to 301,750, right near that average. So I feel good about that. Need to forgot to zero these things out. So basically what we're going to see here is that the house at the 301, not the 345. We can't support that with any of our external sources, but the house with the 301 as the after repaired value, if there was nothing wrong with it, we could pay $211 for it at the 70% discount factor. Now, there probably is cosmetic, as we talked about, and I generally am going, I'm going to say one, got to have some cosmetic work done. That gives us $17,750 to get in there and do flooring and carpet and things like that. It might need some general repairs. I'm going to assume, because it's got a renter in it, that it's not in horrible shape. What if I put 50% there? I think that's about right. 50%. That gives me, honestly, I've always told you guys, houses suck up renovation dollars like a sponge sucks up water. I mean, you need to get in there with some sort of renovation budget, or you basically are just flipping the house as it is, and you're looking for a what do you call it, a greater fool. Somebody will pay more for the same exact thing than you did. We generally need to buy these houses, improve them, bring them up to current after repaired value, and then they will sell quickly to a happy home buyer on the retail market. So with those adjustments of saying 100% for cosmetic, floors, paints, and such, and then another $5,000 for general repairs and things that need to be done around that property, we were told that some pretty good news here, that roof that should be in great shape, HVAC brand new, foundation good. That leaves electrical and plumbing, and there's somebody living in there, so those things are probably working. I'm going to stop right here. I think this is where we're at. We didn't get to see pictures today, but that's okay. I just wanted to talk to you guys about a few of these different things. We've got this house here that we could, with our discount factor and our repairs, we would be willing to offer 188 there at 199. That is not that far apart. It's just not. And as we've seen some of these wholesaler deals I've shown you guys they're sending me an email that says we reduced it, $5,000, $10,000, $15,000. So sometimes these wholesalers have room to move to meet you at the right deal. And we're just not that far off at 188 versus 199. Now, if we got in there, if we got pictures, or we can get in that house, that could really change some of these things. We might find out there's something much worse, but we've kind of, without the pictures, just said, hey, probably needs cosmetic and a few repairs, because it's been a rental house. Renters don't necessarily have the same pride of ownership. They don't necessarily take care of everything the way a homeowner would. So you think you're going to have to go into a rental and do some work to it after people have lived in it for a while. It's just kind of a natural course of things. All right, that is the video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to go to Cash Offer Masterclass if you haven't, and click on Get the Calculator. Fill out my contact form. I will send you a Google link so that you can grab the calculator and modify it and do whatever you want with it. Put your brand on it, whatever. You can always get to our playlist on the website by coming down and clicking on the blue button that turns to a black button when I talk about it. Jump over to our channel. Let's see, where is my channel? I'm not really looking at it. I came to the wrong spot. This is it. Guys, I hope you have been enjoying the videos so far. We're at episode 35. As I've mentioned to you, every 10th episode, I'm doing something special with a presentation, and I got a good one coming up. I think we're going to talk about, the search for motivated sellers. How do we find motivated sellers as real estate investors? It's a big question, always in my career is, okay, this all sounds great. How do I find these deals? Obviously we're looking at wholesalers, but and the emails that they send us. But if you're a wholesaler, you're probably not in a position to buy those houses, because the wholesaler's already got them under contract. It's not really an opportunity for you. So how do you do what they do and go find these deals, get them under contract and all that kind of stuff? I think that might be episode 40. We'll see as we get closer. You've stayed till the end of the video. That means you're in the 1% club. I'm going to do something very special for my 1% club in the future. I haven't decided what that is, but it might be some merch that I send you or something like that, because I get the feeling there's a few of you guys that are not just watching the first 5 minutes or the first 30 seconds and then moving on to a cat video. I think there's a number of you that are really trying to develop this skill set of how to buy real estate, and you're watching these videos and you're watching them to the end, and you are the person that I want to build this for you, because you have a true interest in acquiring this knowledge and becoming good at this. You're the kind of person that I'd like to partner with in the future so that we can buy real estate together in markets all over the United States. So I just want to talk to you. I know 1%, maybe it's not maybe it's the prime club or the, elite whatever, or the platinum this or that, but I just think there's a group of you guys that we're starting to develop, guys and girls. Obviously I say guys all the time, but I think there's some of you that are starting to develop in this community that are really going to become part of something special. So I just wanted to say that. Thank you so much for joining me. Look forward to talking to you tomorrow. Have a great day.